All right, well, welcome back to the Martin Take on for today. A smaller, lesser known artist in Matt Maeson. Now, Matt Maeson is an American, and I describe him as an alt rock artist from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Maeson is a newer artist, only being active since 2016, and as for the artists we've covered, Brendon, he's by far the smallest and the least well known of them, would you say?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
He's not mainstream, and he's noted as a singer-songwriter. So, from what I can tell, his Wikipedia and with the research he did doesn't have much information. I don't think he has any backup vocalists. So I think he does all the vocals, all the instruments, everything in his music, which is kind of interesting. Kind of gives that singer-songwriter vibe. And his upbringing in his childhood was a little bit interesting, which I think has led to a lot of his music and style. So I'm going to kind of use this as a transitional piece into his styling, Brendon, here. However, his parents, I don't know if you looked this up, his parents were juvenile delinquents when they were young, and then they were changed to missionaries as they joined a Christian metal band, which I thought was really interesting. And so that's already kind of you put that out there for a kid, and you get like a unique upbringing. Combine that with his uncle was murdered, who was also in that band and had a large influence on his life. He has a tattoo on his arm about it, anyways. So I feel like a lot of his songs, Brendon, and using this as a transition into takeaways, his lyrics in his song are pretty interesting. There shows some background knowledge there in the Christianity, but it's almost like in a dark way. So using that as a transitional piece into his style, Brendon, what do you think about Matt Mason's style as a musician?
Yeah, it's interesting that you brought up the Christian themes, but there's a darker spin
Yeah.
on that a little bit. I think, and I'm gonna be talking about this in my top five, but there's definitely a conflicted nature to a lot of his
Yeah.
songs.
Yep.
And you get which is interesting. Like you said, this is a newer artist. Typically, we've had artists that have at least been around a little longer than this. But so he's still in those like early albums where like especially the first album from an artist is kind of signature to how they were feeling when they created that album, and then
Right.
as they get bigger that changes. But so very much that first album and some of his EPs and stuff are like very much influenced by his upbringing and his past and all of that. And so it's interesting to see how that comes through and where he would go as an artist if he like keeps making albums, like if that will kind of more just his style will become a thing and less so much about his just history of who
Right.
he is as a person.
And his style is interesting. I commented and it's more like rock alt, but
Yeah.
it's an alternative music with a rock vibe to it, and it feels heavier than some alternative music. But I did note that each album or EP has its own vibe and feel to it. They're all unique and has a pretty wide range of style of music. Like the EP, the Hearse, has a more
Hmm.
contemporary slow vibe to it versus like the Who Killed Matt Mason EP is more of a heavy aggression vibe to it. So like I think each EP and each album has definitely like a uniqueness to them. And there's one of them. I guess Who Killed Matt Mason a
Well,
little bit more variety in the album, but the Hearse EP, Bank on the Funeral, and Never Had to Leave were all pretty unique to their own styling.
yeah, and I think we may as well just switch over to albums here. But before we would do that, I just wanted to mention a couple like musical themes I noticed while listening, and that is it made me think of Vance Joy a little bit, just in his voice,
Okay. Yep.
sometimes. And I think I told you this earlier, but I got some of the Ruben in the Dark vibes from I guess
Yep.
some of the pacing and stuff, and even I think with some of the like conflicted style to the music and some of the themes of drug use and stuff like that. I reminded me a little bit of something like 21 Pilots, even though musically it's not that
Yeah.
similar, but some of
Yep.
that like theme type stuff was kind of coming through.
Yeah, and I think all
But
those
yeah,
artists that you mentioned there, they're definitely. I mean, they're more alt rock. I mean, like 21 Pilots is a
yeah,
great example because they're alt rock. And so Ruben in the Dark would have like a similar flow to some of his songs. So yeah, I definitely see that there. But yeah, switching to albums here. So he has two EPs and two albums. Now, normally we don't include EPs as albums, but it's a little bit more unique with him because a lot of his top songs come from his EPs, and also he had two EPs before two albums. So we're gonna include
yeah.
the two EPs and the two albums, so a total of four quote unquote albums. But the first one here is Who Killed Matt Mason from 2017. That is an EP. The second one he came out with was The Hearse, 2018 as an EP as well. And then his third one was Bank on the Funeral from 2019, and that was his first album. So he came out with an EP 2017, EP 2018, and 2019 album. So he was putting out a lot of music those first couple years. Then he had a 3-year break, and in 2022, he put out the album Never Had to Leave. So, Brendon, looking at like ranking here, and this is the first time where I really struggled to rank the albums of an artist, and I'd be interested to see here. Go ahead and go first, and give me your rankings for all of them.
Yeah, so it's a little difficult with the EPs because
They're smaller.
And Bank on the Funeral took a lot of songs from those 2 EPs. And I wasn't quite sure how we do the EPs, so I have I guess I'll do it this way. I would put, so it's going from 4th to 1st, starting at the bottom. I would put Never Had to Leave as my bottom album. Then Who Killed Matt Maeson, then The Hearse, and then Bank on the Funeral.
That's exactly what I had.
Okay. Yeah, and I was gonna so I think especially Who Killed Matt Maeson. I think a bunch of those are on Bank on the Funeral.
Yeah.
So like that one, it kind of just feels. I mean, there's a couple that aren't, but it feels kind of just a part of that album.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because that's exactly what I had here. And so here's my reasoning. So at number 4, my least favorite album, which was also yours, was Never Had to Leave. I put this at 4. I still liked it. It was a good album and it had a good vibe. Just it wasn't like as good as the other stuff. 3, Who Killed Matt Maeson had a good. I think Who Killed Matt Maeson EP had the most variety. And like you said, I mean, 2 of their top songs. It was Cringe. What was the other one that was on that EP? There's a couple like there are songs that were on Bank on the Funeral that got popular, that kind of made it. We're like, well, how do you include this? And then 2, The Hearse. I really enjoyed The Hearse. It was a contemporary slow vibe to it, but man, it was a good EP. I really liked some of the songs. And then number 1, Bank on the Funeral. I don't think anyone else is gonna go against that. Bank on the Funeral is definitely their best album out of everything. So cool, good stuff. You ready to switch into our top 5, Brendon, or do you want to cover the albums a little bit more?
I don't think so. Yeah, like I said,
there's not much to go over.
There's kind of not too much to go with that. And Bank on the Funeral definitely I think is the number 1. And there's only 2 albums, so it's a full album, so it's kind of a weird thing to rank. So
looking at our top 5 here, Brendon, how many are we gonna have that line up in our top 5?
So there's not very much music, which means we should have some pretty decent overlap.
So I counted 37 total songs, including singles and EPs that are original. Okay. So he has a lot of remixes. I kind of sorted things out. This is not an official number by them or by him. My official number is 37 unique songs, without any remixes or anything like that. So how many? I'm saying 3.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think there's some that you could have definitely put on here or might have on yours that I don't have, but also at the same time, I think these are songs that you would put on too. So I would go with 3.
With our ranking with the albums, I'm confident with 3. If it would be a little bit different, I would change it to 2, but let's go with 3. So without further ado, Brendon, it's your turn to go first. Who do you have at number 5?
So for my number 5, I have Cliffs from The Hearse.
Cliffy's cutting close to the power line, but his daddy can't tell 'cause he's just as high.
Or Cliffy, sorry. Cliffy from
Cliffy.
The Hearse.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't have Cliffs. I have Cliffy. I have Cliffy at 8. Great song.
Okay. Yeah, I had it spelled as Cliffs, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So this is a guitar forward song, also from the EP there, and it combines well a lighter and heavier sound, which I think gets to that like alternative rock nature where there's kind of a mix of stuff here. I really like the second verse, which has like allusions to, and this is what we're kind of talking about before, allusions to wrestling with God. So you have like the line, "You ain't drowning me out with the alcohol," which kind of gets to the theme of like running from God and going to like drugs and alcohol and that sort of thing, which is kind of throughout his music. But it's just kind of cool to see that theme running through in some of the wrestling. And the end of the song though has like a really good rising nature to it with the repeated line, "I bet my life." And just kind of you get like the heavier bass and everything coming through, and it's a really great song.
Oh, so just tell me still hurting, and where did you come by? All of those burdens.
A lot of his songs are similar to this song, and I really enjoyed the song. I put it 8. I really love the Hearst EP, like I mentioned, and it seems that a lot like this song too. It's like a lot of his songs has repeating stuff at the end, and it kind of builds. And I noted, I'm glad you talked about the guitar thing because I noted the opening for the acoustic guitar on the first 3 of my songs. So at number 5 for
Okay.
me, I have "Tread on Me" from the album "Bank on the Funeral" 2019.
Well, I come a long way from the trips and the shaky hands. If you're looking down on me, I could really give a good goddamn.
I think I have that at, what is this? Like around 10.
Okay. Yeah, "Tread on Me." We actually probably not gonna have 3 because that was one of the ones we probably were gonna
Yeah.
have. But I really like the opening to the song. So a lot of his songs open up with the acoustic guitar. Just this one's more pricking, and it's a pretty good vibe to it. And it picks up as with the piano and the drums. It's a great song, and it ends on like more higher energy. But it's so much emotion in the song, especially towards the end. And I just really, really enjoyed it. It's one of the classic ones. I'm gonna have a lot from "Bank on the Funeral" because it's a great album, and this is a good one. I had this at 6 until yesterday, and then I put it at 5 because I just thought it was, one to include in the top 5. But really enjoy the song. Great opening. Love the acoustic guitar, and I'm going to talk about more of the acoustic guitar openings with my other songs as well.
Don't you tread on me, I could hardly sleep. So I don't, and I could hardly speak, so I won't.
Yeah, that one I almost actually put up at 6 just so I could kind of mention it, and so I'm glad you have it. Because of the that like digital sound they kind of mix in.
Yep.
That just is very, I don't know, it's one of those things that just kind of sounds really cool and amplifies like the accents well the singing and stuff.
Yeah. Nice. What do you have at 4, Brendon?
My number 4, I have "Dancing After Death" from "Bank on the Funeral."
Do I know better than this? You're a word that I can't.
Where do you get that?
Hold on. Dancing? What? 29.
29. Oh, wow.
That is
low.
surprising. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised.
Wow. Actually, I mean, quick question. Something we didn't really talk about. How long or how much of Matt Mason's music have you been listening to prior to this?
So I think I started listening to him around 2020, soon after "Bank on the Funeral" came out. So I had the "Who Killed Matt Mason" EP and the "Bank on the Funeral," but I did not have the "Hearse" or "Never Had to Leave." So I've been listening to about half his music since 2020.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I know like you've played plenty of his like most popular stuff, so I've definitely heard it.
Yeah.
But wasn't quite sure how much you had. But anyway, so yeah, "Dancing After Death." I think this has a really unique sound to it. I think Mason's voice would work, and singing comes through really well. And this song again continues with the themes of struggling with faith and that sort of thing. Again, you have lines like, "If I don't get better than this man in my skin," and "Is it safer if we just say we tried?" And just some stuff there that kind of continues with that theme. But I really like the flow of this song. It's a little softer, but just as really solid song.
Are we laughing at the danger? Are we dancing after death, you and I?
It is very interesting with the Christian themes. It seems like a guy that kind of grew up kind of Christian, just really struggling to know where to fit in and how to do it right. It's very interesting to see that come through in his music, which I thought was quite intriguing.
Yeah, for sure.
At my number 4, I have the surprise song of the episode for me. And I don't know if you noticed this song. I hadn't heard it before because it's from the EP, The Hearse. But I have "Mr. Rattlebone" at number 4 from the EP, The Hearse 2018.
You're like the calmest slit to my neck. Bring me in closer.
That one I have right above "Tread on Me."
No way. Okay, so you did have it
Yeah.
pretty high.
So
This
I
song.
had it up there. It's a good one.
So we're not. Wow, we might have
Yeah,
have
we might-
three. So this is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Mr. Rattlebone was a surprise song to me. I had not heard it before we did this episode. Like I said, I had not had the Hearst EP in my library. I really, really love this song. Just like Tread on Me, the opening of the song is the acoustic guitar with the super slow drums in the beginning. So there's soft, there's slow drums in there. But Matt Mason's voice in this is so good. I really like the vibe and the instruments to the ending. And it kind of ends with that. You know that you talked about that that repeated line chanting like in Cliffy.
Yeah.
And it might be the theme from this EP. But same thing with that. It just kind of ends with the ghost echoing vibes line of "I'm the driver, I am the shadow, I am the hearse," which is a little bit dark. Like I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is, but yeah, it just repeated with higher pace each time. Great song. Love this song. So glad I found it from doing this episode. But yeah, that's what I had at number 4, Mr. Rattlebone from the hearse.
Call me Mr. Rattlebone.
Yep. Really liked that one. Considered putting that one up higher, but did not. But yeah, that's a really, it's a really solid song as well. But yeah, moving on to my number 3, I have Legacy from Bank on the Funeral.
Well, I saw, and I swear, an old man with a deadlock stare, and he said to me, "You're too old to be pretending. But you don't know me. I ain't got no legacy." And he said,
Oh man, yeah, we're not gonna have 3.
You're not gonna have
Legacy.
anything.
I had it at 31.
Okay. Yeah. So this one, it's a little more pop sounding or whatever. You know,
Yeah, that's
it's
probably why I didn't
high.
like it.
Yeah, it's a high energy song. It's one of those. To me, I like when I listened to it. I was like, I like this song. I'm like, it's definitely gonna be like one of those like 3 or 4 song. You know, like it's not gonna make the top 2, but I definitely do like this one. So it has a good flow and kind of like edge to it. And then you have the woo woos in the chorus, which are just fun. Again, something that could get annoying on too many listens, but since I haven't listened to this music a ton, it was like something that just kind of stuck out and was kind of a fun thing in the song, especially when compared with some of these other heavier songs. It was kind of fun to have a nice high energy fun song.
"Just know it's not too late to pick up the pieces."
Interesting. The reason you like the song is, again, where our music tastes differ, because I hate how you said this song has a good flow to it. I think it has a horrible flow to it. It's super rough and choppy, and it's more poppy. So it's just
Yeah, but it's
something
not- I mean, it's-
droppy. Ooh, I'm spitting bars right now. Hold up. I do not like songs like this. I despise songs like this, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the like somewhat choppy nature to it, but it's such a like not hard song that like that's not that aggressive. It's just kind of more
It's annoying to me.
bouncy.
Yeah, bouncy. I don't pop and like I was looking up the word contemporary music today, and it's kind of like going with the flow and vibe and stuff. And I think more anything that flows well is something I enjoy. And this music to me is just not it.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's fine.
All right. Well, I think the song that I have at my number 3, you're for sure gonna have. But at number 3 for me, I have Hallucinogenics from the album The Hearse EP, which is also on the Bank on the Funeral album.
Pushing past the limit, tripping on hallucinogenics. My cigarette burnt my finger 'cause I forgot I lit it.
Yeah, I have that song. Not on my top 5 though.
What?
I know, right?
No, are you
I have
serious?
it down at 12.
No way. Are you really?
Yeah, this is something like when I said that I knew there were some that you might have that I didn't have. This was what I was thinking of. Because I know you've played this one multiple times, and it's like I think it's their top song. But I liked it. It just didn't hit for me. And I like listened to it a couple times. I'm like, I feel like I should like this song, but no.
It's interesting for me. So I'm gonna go through my bit here, but basically, yeah, this song is also on the album The Bank on the Funeral. But yeah, just like my first 2 songs, love the acoustic guitar opening, great song. It is their number 1 song in Apple Music. But for me, I put it at 3 because it's just overplayed. I think to me, I played it way too much growing up. Like, this is their most popular song. I played it. I'm sure everyone who's even heard of Matt Maeson has heard of the song. Or actually, you probably heard of this song and not Matt Mason. The song is probably more popular than him.
Very true.
Really. But yeah, another song with intriguing lyrics to me. A couple of them I wanted to point out. The first one was "Go find yourself a man who's strong and tall and Christian." That's an interesting line. Second interesting line, "'Cause I carried on like the wayward son." There's an interesting song. It's like, what is he saying here? It's kind of like, to me, I get the analogy of like the prodigal son, and this guy is the prodigal son. He's out squandering whatever, just living life. He's going on like the wayward man, and he comes across a woman or something, and she's interested, and he's just like, no, I'm not good enough. Go find yourself a man who's tall and Christian and just like not better, I guess. And so it's just interesting. I don't know. That's how I took it. But it's an interesting song from that perspective.
'Cause I just couldn't open up, I'm always shifting. Go find yourself a man who's strong and tall and Christian.
Right, and that's one of the ones I was thinking of with Cliffy, and kind of the like struggling nature of like, actually no, that was I'm thinking of Dancing After Death, like with the, if I don't get better than the man in my skin, like, can I get better than that, or am I just stuck with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I really like the Hearst EP. This was my second song from that one. So yeah, Mr. Rattlebone and Hallucinogenics. What do you give it to? This is where it's going to get interesting, because we haven't had any lined up, so we can't have three.
I don't know if you'll have this one. I mean, it's a great song, but I just don't know if you'd actually put it at the top 5. Number 2, I have Beggar's song from Bank on the Funeral.
Jesus, come talk to me. I am but a blind mess. I am wild and free.
10.
10. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Wow. Wow.
I think. I mean, you'll have my number 1 will be on your top 1 or 2.
Yeah, probably. It's
I
probably
would
going to be my
think
2.
so.
I think you're... Yeah, we'll see. Go ahead for it. Yeah, good song, though. Beggar's song is a good song.
Yeah, it's a slower song. It's one of those ones like, and he has a couple of these. There's actually a couple from his newest album. What's it called? Never Had to Leave.
Yeah.
That are kind of like this, but I thought this song was really good. Yeah, it's a little slower. It's more of a feel song. I like the kind of positive nature it has to it. Even though like most of the song's talking about like the singer and how he's in a rough patch and not doing well and struggling with stuff, but it still has that like that hopeful thing of, there's still time to turn it around. There's still, you can still make a change to your life, which is kind of, it's good to have in that song. And yeah, I thought it just had a really nice flow.
Oh yeah, I'm a beat down, washed up son of a bitch. I got one more cigarette and all my money is spent, but I'm a be damned if I let it keep me down.
Yeah. The first line of the song is, Jesus, come talk to me. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yep.
Yeah, I know we talked about this quite a bit, but the Christian themes to this episode, or to this artist Matt Maeson, is really quite intriguing. It's just like, it really seems to me like he's lost in his own Christianity and just trying to find his way, which is so intriguing to me just from like that perspective. And I think it really comes out through his music, which is just very, like, I don't know how to describe it, very honest, but also just kind of searching to it as well.
Yep. No, I think that really puts it well, because that's kind of what it is, like, yeah, through these different songs, like there's kind of different parts of his faith or the idea of faith that come through, but sometimes he seems to be feeling better with it, and then other times it's more like, where am I going, what's going on, is it even worth it, is he real, that sort of stuff.
So my number 2 song here, and this is going to be your number 1, I think, because my number 1 song is not going to be any song that I don't know. We'll see. My number 2 song is Cringe from the album Who Killed Matt Maeson EP 2017.
Lover, come over. Look what I done. I've been alone so long, I feel like I'm on the run.
Yep, that's my number 1.
Okay. You're wrong for having this at 1, and my number 1, you're wrong for not having your top 5. But here we go. This might be a little bit of shock to have it at number 2, as most people would have put this or Hallucinogenics at 1. But I feel like this is a better song. Cringe is a better flow and a better vibe. Just a great song. Its instruments are strong. Matt Mason's voice is killer in it. The lines are so smooth. Just a great song. One of my favorites. I like the song significantly better than Hallucinogenics, but there's one more song that I like way better than all the rest of his music. So
I'm interested to hear what that one is.
you know what it is. I play it all the time. It's my number one song I play by Matt Maeson. It was my number one song for going into it, but we'll wait. Let's go to your
Yes. Yeah.
let's go to your number one, which is also Cringe.
She said I'm looking like a bad man, smooth criminal. She said my spirit doesn't move like it did before. She said that I don't look like me no more. I said I'm just tired. She said you just
Yep. So yeah, it was Cringe, which I knew it was going to be pretty high, and not surprised that it like went to number one. It's like you said, like it has a little more energy. It is, I don't know, it's fairly alternative sounding. Has good beat. Just everything is kind of there. And the like whole music, I don't know, the way I wrote it down, because I was trying to think how to describe it, it's just kind of spatially the music changes throughout the song, because it's just kind of like the slow down pickup sort of stuff, and it's just kind of, is a really fun song to listen to and has a really cool sound to it.
saw you in the water. I said I saw you in the water.
But
Yeah.
I'm interested. So you liked Cringe better than Hallucinogenics. I was kind of surprised because I figured you would really like Hallucinogenics. Do you,
Well,
do
I
you know why
did.
that is?
Yeah, I did. I mean, back in the day, I loved Hallucinogenics. It's probably been my number one song. But as it gets overplayed, so there's songs that can get overplayed and they're still good. There's songs that can get overplayed and get
So it
dulled.
was mostly the overplayed part of it.
Well, it's overplayed, and it's that style of song that you're just kind of like, okay, I've had enough. But then Cringe
Yeah.
kind of has like this little funkiness to it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, was it Legacy? What was the super like? What was
From
the song?
mine, Legacy.
That was like super jumpy. Was that the one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Cringe is similar to that, but I think it flows better, in my opinion, than what Legacy did. And so I don't know. It's a song that I could listen to over and over again. And yeah, I loved Cringe. It was also on the album Bank on the Funeral, and I've been listening to those two songs for a couple of years now,
Yeah.
three and a half years. And I just love that so much. So yeah, Cringe is why I think it's much better than Hallucinogenics.
Okay. I want to take. I'll take one guess and then I have a question if I'm not right for your number
I think
one.
you're going to be right. This song has to be, yeah. What is it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what you would put as number one right now. So my one guess would be Straight Razor.
You got it.
No.
Straight Razor
Oh, I
is my
did?
number
Okay.
one. Hands down.
Hey, Mr. Stargazer, give me a straight razor.
Yep, that's my number 7.
Great song.
Yep.
I'm going to burst my microphone here. This song, for sure, is the number one song. This song is absolutely a banger. Absolutely. This song, the opening, the head bobbing, smooth vibe, it just draws you in more and more and puts you in this good mood. This song is a perfect combination of acoustic guitar, drums that balance each other in a way that I just love. It's a great song, and I knew this is my number one song before going into it because it just takes all the characteristics of everything that Matt Maeson is, and it just puts it into one song that's absolutely phenomenally well done. And it's high energy, it's smooth, it flows, it starts well, the acoustic guitar, the drums, like, one thing that Matt Maeson does really, really well as an artist as a whole is he takes the acoustic guitar, he takes the drums, and he puts them in this melody of a blend that's basically the most pure smoothie you've ever had in your life. And that's what this song is. This song is, oh my goodness, it's so good. I really love this song.
'Cause it don't stop. No, it don't end. Pulling the seams, the start to wearing thin.
I'll give that to you. That's a good pick.
So yeah, I could listen to this song over and over again. Every time I listen to it, it gets better. But yeah, absolutely love this song. I'll stop bursting the eardrums. But yeah, Straight Razor, number one song by Matt Maeson from the EP. Love this song so much.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Nice.
Did I
think we
convey
can
my
move-
excitement about the song?
I'm very glad you have it at number one. That is a really good song, which I had it all my top 5 at one point, and then
Yeah.
just decided there wasn't enough of pure
So-
flow to it.
Yeah, it's interesting that we
it's
only
very
had
good.
We guessed 3. We only had 1. We only had Cringe
Yeah.
lined up. I really thought you were gonna have Tread on Me, Hallucinogenics, Cringe, and maybe a Straight Razor. Like I thought you might have had 4. I
Right.
knew Mr. Rattlebone was gonna be a bit of surprise, so that one I wasn't surprised that you didn't have. But yeah, the rest of them I'm kind of surprised. But yeah,
Yeah, because I
fine.
thought, like, as far as thinking 3, like, I thought there was a decent chance you'd have Cliffy, and then either Beggar's song, because I thought it's a really, like, just solid song, or Legacy. Like, one of those two might be, like, a number 5 or something.
So-
But it was not.
One question I had for you. So at my number 6, I had Blood Runs Red. Very close make. I had it in my top 5, and I switched out for Tread on Me. Where did you
Yeah.
have Blood Runs Red?
14.
Really, that low? Okay.
Yeah. I had 3 from that album, and then everything else was either from Bank on the Funeral, or, like, there was 1 or 2 that weren't. I think 3 that were from the EP, the 2
Interesting.
EPs.
Let's go down through the
Yeah.
6 through 15 list. Go ahead and give me your list.
Yeah, Feel Good, which I was really close to putting on, but
Feel
then
Good.
Cliffy overtook that. Yeah, it's just another, like, it's a solid song, but it's not.
Feel Good
Yeah.
33. Interesting.
Yep. Straight Razor,
Yep.
Cry Baby, which
Yeah,
I
that's a
kind of
good
was.
one. That's a
Yeah, I was
good
thinking about putting that one on, but I already had Beggar's song that I thought conveyed that, like, slower feel well enough. Mr. Rattlebone, very good. Tread on Me.
Mhm.
I Know You, which I know is a, like, whatever the word is, it's done with another artist.
Yeah, I had it 23.
Okay, yeah, that I thought was really good. Then Hallucinogenics, Waltz Right In, Blood Runs Red, and Tribulation, which is also pretty good.
So we had a lot of similar here. So at 6,
Yeah.
I had Blood Runs Red. 7, I Just Don't Care That Much. Good one. 8,
I almost put that one on. Yeah.
8, I had Cliffy. 9, Put It On Me. Another one from the album, the Hearse or the EP. 10, Beggar Song. 11, Grace Digger. That's a good one. 12, Nelsonwood Lane. 13, Cry Baby. 14, Cut Deep. Another good one. And 15, Get Happy.
Okay. Yeah, there's actually quite a few of those.
Yeah,
that
we
I
actually,
didn't have.
that's a lot. I mean, there's not that much music, so yeah, 50-50 chance.
Right.
Moving on, that was an interesting top 5. Honestly, for such a small artist, like we had only one that lined up, and I don't think we've done an episode where we had 0 lineup, have we? Like we've always had at least one, or have we done?
We have always had at least one, except
Okay.
for our last episode with.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
our,
but with
our-
Gabe, but that
Right.
yeah,
That's a
that doesn't
little
really
different.
count. So interesting. We only had the one, which is the least we've ever had, and it was such a small artist, only 37 songs or so. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised by that, because usually, even if we've picked different ways of going with style, usually you'd at least have a couple just because there's so few songs, but not in this case.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, moving on to our next segment. Where are you, or what's your mood when you are listening to this artist? And I'll let you go first.
I might have to punt. Like I've only really listened to them for this last week, and so I don't quite know the way
You
where
might
they're
have
going
to
fit
punt.
into
I
my
like that term.
yeah.
We're gonna have this one back to the other offense. We're gonna have to regroup here and feel about how we feel it for a little bit.
Right. Like I'm not quite sure where they're going to go long term, like where he's going to go long term in my listening, but I definitely know. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be one of those bands. If I don't listen to him enough, like soon, I'm going to forget, like that he's in my library until randomly. But I don't know. It's really good music, so it's kind of hard to say. So I guess I'll just like I said, I'll punt and let you take it away.
Yeah, it's interesting for me. So Matt Maeson is like on the occasional listen list for me. And it's mostly when I'm feeling like a little bit more low energy, slower vibe. I just kind of want to just vibe or regain a little bit of energy. Location-wise, it's typically at my house if I'm by myself, maybe like having a beer or something like that. Or actually, honestly, where I listen probably the most is at your house when I come over and I just like play them on your TV or your sound system when we're just vibing. That's honestly, I probably do that the most. And I think it's where you heard a lot of their songs from me is when I've just done that in the past. And that's been over the last like 3 or so years, so we've done that. Very interesting. Any final takeaways, Brendon, before we wrap up this episode and move on to our next artist?
One thing I was just thinking of while you were talking is this morning I had spent some time listening to them, and I used my like good pair of headphones, which I don't use that often, but I do enjoy when I get a chance to. And I thought his music sounded really good with like my headphones that have better bass and all of that. And I thought some of these songs, especially like ones like Cliffy, like sounded much better than just on like, earbuds or AirPods or whatever, where you don't get near as much bass and they sound a little more tinny. So I actually think like I kind of am excited to like the next time I'm sitting down, like just listening to music with my like nicer headphones, just enjoying music. I'm definitely want to throw a few of these songs in. So
Yeah.
I think I'll be listening to his stuff a little bit more because it's interesting. Sometimes I'll finish listening to a band. I'll be like, okay, I'm kind of done with them for now. Like I've listened to them enough,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
kind of feel like I got just a taste, and now I'm like, I kind of want to listen to it more. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, no, but I mean, once we do an episode, you have a new appreciation, or at least I do have a new appreciation for their music. That you're like, like I want this song in this setting, and you can kind of pull a little bit
Yeah.
more from your known library, especially the top fives. But cool, no, great episode. For me, I love doing this episode. He's been on the list for a while. I put him on the list, I think, about a year ago to do an episode of him. Doesn't have much music, but the music that he does have is really, really good. His 2 albums and his 2 EPs are killers. Like, normally, Brendan, when we do an episode, there's an album that either we both agree on or we differ on. Like, we hated this album. This album sucked, right?
Yeah.
Matt Maeson, I mean, he doesn't have much music, but out of the 4 projects he has, none of them I hated. I really liked all of them. I ranked Never Had to Leave at 4, but it was still a good album in my opinion. So it wasn't like I hated any of his music, which was cool.
Yep, definitely agree with that.
So, all right, cool. Well, good episode. Definitely a shorter episode. Not as much to talk about here, but yeah, would love to see him in concert. We'll see if we can get it. My coworker was telling me the other day that he was going to go see Matt Maeson a couple years ago in Philly, but had to bail on him, so he didn't get to see him. But yeah, would love to see this guy in concert. So you'll have to come with me sometime, Brendan. I'll
All right.
bribe you or something.
We'll see.
Anyways, moving on. So yeah, next episode, the artist we are doing is a little bit older than this. We're doing Radical Face. I think his first project came out in 2011. So he's
Yep,
been
which
around for a little
I
bit.
am very excited for. I've been listening to Radical Face for, I don't know, at least 10 years, something
Oh wow!
like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I don't think I've been listening to. I think I have his top song in my library. I think that's it, but we'll see.
Okay. Yep.
So
no,
yeah,
great artist.
yeah, excited for that. Next artist is Radical Face. Thanks for listening. If you have any feedback, suggestions, you can email us at martintakepod@gmail.com. Besides that, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.